Welcome back to another episode of Psychic Evolution. I'm Jamie Clark.
And I'm Maggie Clark, and this is the podcast where you discover the psychic potential within to empower yourself and manifest your psychic and mediumship gifts. And today we want to answer some questions about walk-ins. And it's not specific questions, it is what are our thoughts on walk-ins? People have been asking for our opinion about walk-ins and when they happen, so we're going to lay it out in this episode for you. A basic definition of a walk-in is a soul that is going to take over a different body, like come in. So basically, for example, if I was having my human experience, just rolling through life, doing my thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm done on this planet, I'm going to check out. There are times when souls make this agreement typically before you even get here, before you're even born. Souls will make this agreement, or it can be made while you're alive, but it is agreed upon by both sets of soul prints of consciousness. It's not stealing someone's body, but one soul's ready to graduate, ready to leave the body, and another soul can come in and have a life experience in the vehicle of, say it's me, little Maggie, right? While me, I'm out. So usually walk-ins are considered to be different soul prints of consciousness that just take over another body.
Because they're given permission to connect with that, not taking over it, but the occupant leaves that body so that the new soul print, so to speak, can come in without a distraction. Because that's why, we're really strong. I want to make sure from my awareness that it is not manipulation. You're not made to have to do this. It's you choose to have this life experience. And in this case, as Mag was saying, you choose before. Isn't that kind of interesting? That tells me you're already making pre-plans before you even get here. That could be a lot of what happens is we have an awareness of these lifetime experiences and some of the potential gains and experiences that we can learn from. And it's not just blind faith experience. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes it's the old soul that's been patiently waiting for the right timing to integrate back into, in this case, humanity. What if it is that divine timing that allows all things to come together? And when that alignment can happen, what if there's the beauty of benefit for everyone else around that person's life experience that will benefit from the new occupant with more love, more compassion, more life fullness, many different ways that maybe one person wasn't in experience of life, that once they graduate and the new occupant is in, again, not a huge shift, but an integrated shift when you feel more alive, when you appreciate life, and when you're ready to live, not just exist. Well, there are so many different dynamics and timelines, and each individual is different and unique. There's a soul connection that, as a walk-in, sometimes will have the person who's still in this human physical vehicle live their life experience to whatever age, and that way, as a walk-in, we don't have to necessarily go through all of the childhood steps to get to the adulthood. It lines up productively. We're at the right time in the right way through all of those experiences. Now it's time to integrate into this next phase, and being the adult in order to just act and interact with life and your own consciousness, because it's a very powerful dynamic that we are all interconnected. And on a soul level, it is permission. There is no manipulation. You're not taken over by another soul. It's, in this case, you'll make a deal, so to speak, to go, you know what, okay, around this age, I'm going to check out. And they may not have a definitive way of how they check out. They just already have made that statement, and they're ready for that connection and the catalyst of consciousness. So when they do all of their life experiences and have fun, once it's gotten to that point, and it's, to me, it's not like we're just sitting around going, do, 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 do. Nope. We're living our life, experiencing what we are. But in that interconnectedness, when that particular human, in this case, chooses to graduate life, we know it's almost like a tap on the shoulder, so to speak, to go, okay, it's time. And for us, in this soul essence of who we are, this consciousness, we do tend to have some pre-made plans, some things that we want to attain while we're here in this experience. And sometimes the time frame of being a walk-in can be much more productive. Like I shared, you don't have to necessarily go through all of the childhood experiences to get to that point. And what if there's a potential that we choose the area on this planet and the location of life experience circumstances? And what I mean by that is, for myself, if I'm a walk-in in this case, I would want to make sure that whoever I'm going to be walking into has at least a connection to the avenue and direction of life that I am looking for as an expression. I don't want to necessarily take whoever this person is in a regular thing and then go, bam, because then people can start freaking out. They're like, that's completely different. And again, it's not that you're the same energy, but that you have similar vibes so that you don't get the attraction of too many people that could become a little freaky deaky. And when they can get used to you in this case, and it's not like you're ignorant. As a soul exchange, you will be given information about who the people are in that lifetime. So you're not going, who are you? What the? It's, hey, oh, okay, that's what he or she was talking about before he even came into this vehicle, is so that I can be comfortable and make the adjustment of integration in this life. And it's really cool because it becomes a blessing, a benefit for pretty much everyone involved. The person who's ready to graduate life, who's had their life experience to whatever level that they've enjoyed, and they're ready to step out and allow someone else, another soul print of consciousness, to come in to that particular lifetime and experience and express their own way, and hopefully being able to make the difference in these later years, which usually happens. The ability to have that divine timing, to have the idea and the co-creation with others as we become a walk-in, if that person were to even choose to connect with us. Because again, you don't just soul snatch people. It's they will, whoever the occupant of that particular vehicle is, in this case the human vehicle, will have their own awareness. They will give permission, or you wouldn't be walking into that life experience, basically. So I just want to make sure that people know that there is no manipulation. It is co-creation. And in this energy exchange, it is the blessing and benefit of both, in this case, people who are good with the circumstances of exchange, meaning the person doesn't feel like their life has been taken and that they have no control. It's they have an awareness that they've done the fullness of their life experience and now can release and go to the next level of consciousness. Basically, the other side, which is right here, right now. And sometimes it can be a blessing because as a walk-in, we can also help clean up, so to speak, or have that person's life experience expressed so that it's the culmination with family or loved ones or children or friends or whomever it is, so that there is no gap. It becomes the integration of the next phase of life. And when you can realize there is no death, it is all an eternal life, that we become a lot more adventurous. It's a little bit easier to open up to life if you realize, okay, you know what? Of course, these circumstances are here, but I'm giving myself and this other person, Soulprint, permission to come into this vehicle because I think I'm ready to graduate life, or whatever the case would be as a choice. But in that, it's also that a lot of times those physical circumstances that take our human life in this case will also be something that the other person, the Soulprint who walks into this vehicle, can handle. It's not going to be so devastating that they can't even make a connection, because otherwise there wouldn't be an exchange. They wouldn't want to come in and deal with all the stuff. So in this case, it is that teamwork that makes the dream work. And when we can realize that it is all about love, it is truly the empowerment and connection to realize you can have as much or as little in life and you are loved just the same. And if we, in this case, can help other soul prints to express themselves, and it's a benefit to us as well, why not have some fun? because, again, this is only one planet in infinity that exists, and more every moment. But in this case, for this beautiful planet, we want to talk about a walk-in so that you can realize there is no end to it, but an integration of other aspects of life experience. And having the ability to, if you so choose, to graduate life and know that someone else is going to use that vehicle sometimes might give you the impetus to, I don't know, start taking care of yourself even more effectively, or eat healthy, or whatever the case is. Because it doesn't always have to be health issues that helps you to graduate life. There can be other circumstances. So basically, in essence, what I'm saying is you can healthify this physical body before you graduate life, so the new occupant has a pretty productive energy vehicle that isn't incapacitated, or whatever the case is. They're able to just kind of jump right in where you left off. And the great thing is, it is all about teamwork. It is all about love. And our energy will be fairly similar to whoever the occupant is of that vehicle in this case, so that you're not too completely different from the other person, because then they're like, you got a whole bunch of completely different likes and dislikes, and who are you? There's more comfort and empowerment. And so when we have similar qualities and characteristics, it's a little bit easier for our loved ones, family, friends, people around us in our life experience that know us for who we are in this physical vehicle, that there's not a huge shift of consciousness. It just seems to be the next phase of consciousness. In this case, sometimes a health issue or a circumstance that they know, okay, they've made it through this. In this case, it was a walk-in, but that they're back, that they're having fun. And so it's a great dynamic when we can kind of choose, not kind of, we can choose our entrance point and exit point. You are not made to do anything and allowed to do everything. And when we can realize that it is all about love, and that if this, in this case, a soul walk-in to another life experience is the right timing, in the right way, for the right circumstances of soul growth for this particular individual and the occupant who just left that vehicle. Because you will help that person, whoever the soul print is that leaves that physical body that you're walking into, if they have life circumstances or dynamics that need to be facilitated or taken care of, you'll do that before you do your own thing. That way, in that soul responsibility, so to speak, everything is taken care of. That soul who left the body to give us this vehicle to experience from this moment on has everything taken care of in the essence of love and compassion, so that sometimes they want to hang around and see us in what we're doing in their lifetime. And it's really cool because you can start to really share the love and take things to the next level, lovingly, unconditionally, and empathically, feeling that energy of life and other people, so that you're able to gauge your interactions with them. Meaning, if the person was fairly quiet in this life, more than likely you're not going to necessarily come in with a new energy of like, hey, ta-da! It'd be like, whoa, hey. So you'll have an awareness of how that person was and their perspective and how they were viewing life, so that it's not like it's a completely new experience. It's an integrated blending experience from one life experience to the next. And it's not like our soul print, once we leave the body, has nothing to do. It's on the next level, the next experience. And the great thing is sometimes you'll choose that in order to allow someone to come in to help their own life experience. And it's brilliant. And it's teamwork and truly love.
And it's not always roses. Trust me, I have heard stories of walk-ins that have been more traumatic. So at times there are, remember, and this is agreed upon by the souls on the other side when this happens. I have a friend of mine whose father graduated. Well, he didn't graduate. He got in a very bad car accident, and his soul print chose to graduate, and another soul print came in. And at that point, his personality did change drastically. He went from a loving, awesome dad to being a real a-hole and abusive. And so there are specific times that these things happen, but there are reasons, and it's agreed upon experiences if the tables turn like that as well, whether it's the positive experiences or sometimes the hardships that we're agreeing to experience in this lifetime. And so again, sometimes these walk-ins can be a smooth transition, but other times they are quite drastic. But I will say, I feel that some of people who have told me, yeah, I'm a walk-in and blah, 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 I don't feel that from them. I still feel like, I'm not getting that. I'm getting the same soul print. And so again, this is a perception that we can't prove, by the way. This is a soul consciousness, and you can just know who you are and know yourself. There are times people have accidents or traumatic experiences that jog them into different personality types. And when that happens, some people are like, maybe I'm a walk-in, maybe this is something different. And what you have to ask yourself is, do I feel the same in the core of who I am? Not what I was conditioned to be, but in the core of who I am. Am I still the same? But if you're a walk-in, most of the time, I feel like you know that you're a walk-in having this experience. But there might be times that you don't know that you're a walk-in, because it will provide the experiences that that soul needs. And so these are all our thoughts about walk-ins, as it pertains to how interesting it can be for a physical body, a vehicle, to house more than one soul print of consciousness as the vehicle is alive.
And again, there is no limit. It becomes the individualized choice of co-creation with that particular experience. Plus, to me, it's not like, everything's gone and it's a new person and you have no recollection in any way about the life experience that they've lived. No. It's an energy residue that's already within that body and that soul exchange, so that as you move in, you vibe with every life experience that that person has had while they were here, so that there is no gap to go, I'm here. I don't know what to do. Nope. They'll try to give you as much comfort as possible, and more than likely, you're going to give yourself as much comfort as possible to make it more effective, to make it more of a blessing in this case, so that it's not always such a huge transition, because more than likely the loved ones around that person might have been like, they're a whole different person, Lordy. And so not everyone knows how to deal with that. And so giving our soul prints as much information as possible, that you will choose the particular country or the time frame or life experiences that will be the best benefit for you in this particular walk-in life experience. Meaning they're not going to have you walk in another country that you can't do anything with your abilities. It's, okay, so I guess the most effective at this moment will be in this country at this time in this way. So I'll see around who might be wanting to walk out so that I can walk in. And the good thing is it is teamwork. That kind of a connection can be a tremendous blessing for everyone involved, because sometimes if those are the cases where it's a whole different energy like that, they'll be acclimated to this life experience of the family, the friends, the loved ones. So it becomes kind of like the catalyst of consciousness to go, okay, now I see how they're viewing me and life experience, so I've got some things to work with. I got some information and energy to connect with. That way it's not just blind and you have no idea going, I'm here, I don't know what to do. Now, you've already made some plans before you even came in. And the potential is the occupant who was in that vehicle that chose to walk out already has their awareness of life experience after this life, that they know, hey, there's even more life, because for me, as I always share, I never ever talk to the dead. There are none, right? We die in this dimension and then we go to the other side after this. Aren't we right now living on the other side of where we come from before here? Does that mean we must have died? Or could it just be that shift in consciousness, vibrational patterns of energy? And when people can realize that it is always life, fullness, that it just depends on how you and in what way want to experience and express this life with yourself and with others.
And I would say the majority of the time, walk-ins are agreed upon before you're even born, before the body is even created. This is the majority of the time the walk-in situation, that scenario is agreed upon pre-birth plan. That is usually the way it goes. There are occasions that it comes in at other times. Have you ever met a walk-in, Jamie?
Yes. And there are so many different variances of walk-ins. And again, remember, we are extraterrestrials to everyone else. So it's the life experience of oneness. Not only does this planet have the potential for a walk-in experience, other worlds, other dimensions have the opportunity of soul growth as well. So the person that I'm aware of that was a walk-in and that is a walk-in did have some personality differences. However, there was a lot of dynamics, a lot of insights that that person who was the walk-in kept from the other occupant who kept it fairly similar. That way there wasn't, again, so much of a change it starts freaking everyone out.
Did they know that they were a walk-in?
Yes. Yes, they had a very solid awareness to go, you know what, in this case, for them, this was the first time being here. So it was kind of cool because you could feel the newness of that soul. Even though they were of a certain age, it was like, wow, their energy was just more vibrant and aware of like, hey, this is a new experience, which was really cool because the other occupant of that particular vehicle was a little bit different in the way that they were perceiving things. So it was a tremendous blessing in this case for the family members and people around that were connecting with this new soul print, this walk-in of this body. And it didn't freak them out. They were just excited that this new occupant, which they didn't necessarily know was a new occupant, was happy with life, that they were adventurous, that they wanted to do other things besides the old aspect of what they were used to do. That kind of an excitement was huge because it brought life fullness to the rest of the family and their opportunities. And in some cases, for the technology, the ability to benefit that time frame, sometimes you'll choose someone who's in that arena professionally of creating technology or whatever the case is, so that you know, oh, that would be the most appropriate person and circumstance at this moment to jump into, to walk into, so that it's already set up. Because I have a lot of technological ideas that I wasn't able to manifest many, many lifetimes ago, that now is the perfect time. And it is that divine timing. And when we're able to be the essence of who we are, but find yourself in another physical vehicle, in this case for this life, it allows you to kind of pick up where you left off. Back then, it may not have been appropriate to do whatever the technology was. Now it's perfectly aligned. And not only that, you didn't have to necessarily go through all of the childhood experiences to get to this point. This person lived their life beautifully in every way, and when they walked out, and you walked in, it was perfectly aligned at the right time in the right way, so that you instantly, all you had to do was begin to live.
Now, when you were psychically connecting to this person, did they come to you asking if they were a walk-in?
No, they pretty much had the awareness that they were a walk-in. So I was curious to go, okay, I'm aware of the person who was the occupant and what their likes and their energies were. And I could see and feel some of the differences of what this new walk-in was feeling in comparison to the old walk-in, so to speak.
Did the body have any residue? Could you feel both soul prints in the body, or did you feel like did it clearly have a different soul print? I mean, what did that feel like physically or psychically in those senses?
Yeah, it did. It felt like a whole different energy. The same body, but a different occupant. Because otherwise, sometimes if there were both, soul prints in that body, they'd start to go, are you bipolar? Are you what? So from my awareness, that soul print that's in the physical body that chooses to leave so that you can walk in is already aware that they're leaving. They're not going to just hang around and become a distraction. They've gotten all their life experiences and will be ready to leave this physical life to continue their life experience and allow that walk-in to experience from where you left off.
Now, when we do like psychometry, we touch an object to see who's been connected with it. Did the body have, I mean, you might not have touched this person either, but did the body have some kind of energy of both soul prints that you could feel, like one having been connected before and one having been after?
It did to me because, the molecular structure, your thoughts affect the molecular structure. So the occupant, my good friend, who was the original occupant of that particular vehicle before they chose to walk out, I know their energy. I could feel their vibe. So when I was connecting with them, and in the new occupant, no, he was very similar to the other one. So it wasn't like it was a completely shifted, whole different person. It was like, oh, you seem to see things a little bit differently. I was able to see and feel their energy as they were integrating in this life because I was aware of this person before the new occupant was there.
And you could clearly feel the difference of soul print?
Yes. It's all energy. So for me, I'm like, yeah, no, I know that, but that's not the original occupant. This is the newbie.
How fascinating is this? I've had people tell me I'm a walk-in. I was like, oh, no, I understand that you went through something traumatic and I understand that you learned a different piece of yourself. And then you're bringing that back, that awareness of who you are on like a broader perspective or a bigger vision. I think sometimes people feel they're a walk-in when they expand consciously into the awareness of who they are, and they're pulling in that awareness into this life. And then other times you do have these situations, and I love the fact that this person knew, right? They knew. I am definitely here. I'm new, and this is cool. What a great way to ignore childhood conditioning and just like be like, I'm coming in.
I don't have to go through that.
I don't want religious conditioning. I don't want societal conditioning. I don't want cultural conditioning. I just want to step in and have some fun here. That'd be kind of fun.
But not only that, it became the choice of the new occupant that was able to continue that person's soul print of experience so that once that was complete with the other people in the family and the circumstances, they were able to start living their life the way that they wanted to. Because for me, the person that I knew as the old occupant, so to speak, was in a certain way very creative, but the new occupant was even more creative, had an even more powerful spiritual flavor to them. And it was really cool because, again, it's all energy. We're all one. But to know that person for many years before they chose to walk out and then to be connected to the new soul print that's a walk in was really cool because I could tell, I could feel the shift, but it wasn't just like, oh, it's a crazy thing. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And not only that, because I can feel the other soul print's energy in that physical body, just the residue, just the energy vibe on a molecular structure. But with that, it's really cool because you begin to see the intertwining, the blending of energy and consciousness, that sometimes that person's molecular structure of thought is in that physical body so that the new occupant can vibe with the energy that's already there and pick up all of the life experiences and all the circumstances and that type of dynamic so that it's a nice harmonized blending in. They will literally walk into this new experience. It becomes a lot more effective because there's not a lot of circumstances to learn. They're already aware, for the most part, of what's going on. And to see their new energy of excitement to be here and alive and ready to go is like, wow. Everyone has that, just sometimes it takes that experience in order to feel it.
I love that, by the way. And when we think of like the computer as a brain and consciousness is connected to the soul print, the brain in the body is still uploading this new walk-in with all the life experiences, all the memories, all the things. I love how this just kind of works, and it proves that consciousness exists beyond the physical body as well when we have these situations. So if anyone's out there thinking that they're a walk-in, you're not alone. This is not very common, though. It's very precise. It is agreed upon on everyone's soul print who's going to be affected by the transition if it does happen, and have fun and explore, expand. But that answers a lot of the questions and our thoughts about walk-ins.
And the ability that it's all about love and, in this case, growth, the life experience. And with that teamwork that we have, in this case as a human form, we are being able to pick up where they left off. And the great thing is sometimes it becomes like a blending of realities, that you get the old molecular structure residue of their conscious thoughts, and it's vibing into your awareness so that you have that reference, you know the flavor of that occupant and where they were and how they were, so that you can make your own comfortable integration so that it becomes a lot more effective and effortless. That kind of a finding yourself within life, people will start to make comments like, you just feel like you're more at ease. And that's what some of my friends, people around him were saying. In this case, it was a him, that, wow, you just seem to be a lot different from this connection. And this new soul print, the occupant of the walk-in, was also someone who's been here quite a while. They did have other life experiences that they were vibing with, that I could pick up to go, oh, now you start to blend realities, because not only is it the occupant, the original occupant, but the new occupant gets to blend those realities and live that experience. It's brilliant. I love it.
So thank you, listeners, for all of your amazing questions. We love them. Keep them coming. If you want more with the Psychic Evolution team with Jamie and I, please join us on our monthly training sessions, the second Monday of every month. We also have a Psychic Evolution Mystery School if you want to start studying, learning, growing, integrating, monthly meditations, whatever and however you can grow with your psychic evolution. There'll be a link in the show notes, and take care.
Lots of love.